Welcome to Who You Know with Michael Sublett of Odd Mo's Pizza and Arthur Meeker of Extreme Graphics. We're shining the spotlight on businesses right here in the Pacific Northwest, celebrating their growth, their networking wins, and the impact they make in their communities. From small town gems to big community players, this is where connection meets inspiration.
Well, hey, we're going to have a really good show today. I wanted to introduce our newest guest that's coming on the show, Tino from the YMCA. And we brought back Tim Stom from Stom Painters. Reason why we have both of you here is because I know you guys are best friends and sort of like you tolerate each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
We lived together for a while, so it was like out of obligation.
Yeah.
And then you know.
I like that.
Tim's like an infection. It's like, it keeps growing on you and growing on you. All of a sudden, you're enthralled in the Stom way.
Well, I got sucked into that whole thing too.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it's a real thing.
I don't know what kind of infection we're talking about here, but we're just gonna...
No, it's a real.
And you just gotta the only way to get away is chew your arm off, to get away from the guy.
No, it's a real thing. We were just talking about this right before I came over at the Y with my coworkers, and they're like, because Tim just kind of like walks through the place.
Yeah.
Like we have a clear sign that you made that says staff only beyond this point. And it doesn't matter. It was like day one. Now it's obviously day, I don't know, 3 or 4 years later that Tim's been involved at the Y, and just with
Some of the staff members are like looking at me. And I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, it's Tim again."
It's awesome.
Get him a YMCA shirt and put him to work.
Yeah.
Get him a name tag.
Actually, my first week working at the Y, or no, first month working at the Y, Tim actually kind of worked for the Y a little bit. So we were living together, and I just got the gig, and I was in the marketing department. And it was like, hey, we're a month away from like our first fundraiser. We're gonna try this thing. It's like a winter gala kind of deal, but we need a video. And Chris Reese was like, so make the video. And I was like, well, I don't have a lot of experience making videos, but I was like, you're not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to obviously say no, we're not making the video. So I just knew my young cat here was probably around 20 years old at the time, 21. And he just did some research. We bought a similar setup probably for about 10% of the price of what you guys got
Amazon.
here. All on Amazon, and some microphones, and we actually made a really cool video. Or Tim really sliced it all together, but we did all the interviews, and we talked about angles of talking to people, and then having the B-roll in the background. I didn't even know what B-roll was at the time. I don't think Tim did either. We're looking up definitions, and honestly, it came out, and we've done probably 7 or 8 videos probably in my time at the Y now. And I think we always go back to that. The quality is probably 90% of what the folks that do it for a living. But as far as the way that Tim made it flow, I think it's the best one that we have.
Oh, cool.
And it was just like it was like he'd never done a video before. So that's just the kind of guy he is. And like I said, he just that's what he's done with his business too.
It was a little stint in my career. I was kind of on the edge of becoming the owner of Stom Painters and finding other avenues, and then we just did it.
Yeah,
it turned out good.
It turned out really good.
It turned out good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because I'm really good friends with Chris Reese, who's the director of the YMCA, and you working there. Is it fun? I mean, it's got to be fun to work around him. I mean, and trying to keep up with the guy is amazing, because that guy has this mind, and if you could get everything out of his mind and put it up there, it would fill up a whole wall, because he's like going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he's so fast paced. Tell me about the experience working with Chris.
I mean, so I've worked with Chris in a couple different ways. I actually worked as his bar manager at Southpaws. Southpaws. The first 2.5 years it opened. And kind of a funny story. I want to kind of go back to my beginning with Chris, and then I'll kind of answer your question about how it is now. But so I was kind of a fiery kid in high school a little bit, and I was I should have wrestled. I'm like 5'7.5". And get a little stockier, right? And I should have wrestled, but I played basketball because my dad wanted me to play baseball and all this kind of stuff. I just did the renegade thing, played basketball. And anyways, so Chris came up to me probably at age 21. I was working at Brewfest, which was put on by the Boys and Girls Club at the time. That's where I was working. And he don't know the guy at all. We're cleaning up. I think he has his Bulldog Warriors helping clean up, and I'm kind of coordinating the cleanup, And so he comes up to me, he was like, "You don't know me, but I know you." That's all he said. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I tell my boys I want them to compete just like you. And I was like, all right. And, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And he's like, just so you know, we're gonna do something in life together. Don't know when, don't know what, but we will. And I was like, okay, sweet. I was like 21. They're pretty cool. So about like 4 years later, I'm like in the lobby of the Boys and Girls Club, and I just see this guy in like an army suit, right, at the front, and he's asking. I just hear Tino Barreras, just hear my name, and I just look over and Chris is just right there, and he walks directly over to me. He's like, Colonel Chris Reese, remember me? And I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, well, I'm opening a pizza parlor, and I want you to be my bar manager. It's gonna be in about a year or two. I'm gonna come back. I was like, all right, sounds good. Fast forward a year later, almost the exact same place. I was by the athletic office. Same thing. Hear him again. He goes over. He's like, we're having a meeting 2 weeks from now. You're gonna be there and be my bar manager. Okay, sounds good. I went for the ride. I had a full-time gig at the Boys and Girls Club. Did that at night from like probably 5 p.m. till about, well, we started till like 2 o'clock in the morning. We realized that's not really the North Albany scene to be open that late. And then we pushed it back. But for the first year or so, working super long hours. Anyways, worked for him for a while. Then I had moved on. I kind of moved on from the Boys and Girls Club as well. Went to the garbage company. And it was a great experience. I learned a lot. I know I talked to you actually when I took the job. I remember the conversation very specifically in the Boys and Girls Club. I think it was the winter or the celebration of trees. And you were like, Tino, I'm proud of you. You know, he's like, I remember that. And you're like, you're on the board, and you said, I'm proud of you. You're going to go out and you're going to learn a lot. And, you know, I want you to take that with you and just know that I'm proud. And I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Because a lot of people wanted me to stay there. A lot of people were telling me this and that. So I remember that. I did learn a lot at Republic. I learned a lot about corporate, exactly. How corporate works versus how nonprofits work. I also learned about efficiency and tracking KPIs and how important that is in a business. And I didn't realize that with kind of my role at the Boys and Girls Club. It was very day-to-day and kind of, you know, just the impacts on the kids that we were serving, the families we were serving, but not like how to make sure that impact is sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I kind of put 2 and 2 together with the passion for families, with kind of like the corporate aspect of how to actually run a business and make it sustainable with what I was provided at Republic Services under Julie Jackson and Brett Davis and Sean Edmonds. And then I was able to, you know, come back to the Y because I was like, you know, I really want that community feel. I want to be a part of something, that we're building something. And Chris, you know, kind of was always chirping in my ear, like, hey, whatever you need. You know, he knew I needed to go out and kind of figured out what I needed for my career wise. But he always was in my corner, but also saying like, hey, just know we're gonna do something together. So I came to him and I said, hey, like, you know, this corporate thing isn't really my thing long term. And he's like, give me a minute. Calls me back probably like within an hour. And he's like, I've got a role for you. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to talk to the team. You're going to come over on our team. And I was like, okay. So then I just came in for like an interview. They didn't all exactly know at the time what my role was going to be, and it was going to be marketing and kind of development with the new campus and the expansion of the fields and our warehouse facility. And then, you know, the rest is history. Like, I just kind of got plugged in, learned from Chris, learned from Ethan, and I moved my way up, obviously, into upper management there, and now I oversee all of our programs and services. But to answer your question, working for Chris is like every day is something new, and you always have to be on your P's and Q's. And you don't know when he's looking or when he's not looking either. And he's not like he's like a micromanager at all. He's actually probably the least micromanaged person but he manages the outcome, right? And he lets you kind of figure out the role or the route to get there, and has, you know, those bumpers as well to make sure you're staying on track.
Expectation.
Yeah.
And then he lets you run with it.
Yeah. Puts full confidence in you and supports you in that way. And so that, you know, I've learned from that, you know, immensely. And that's how I tried to emulate, and that's how I tried to pass that on in my leadership, is to, you know, trust but verify. And then, you know, but also hiring the right people.
Yeah.
Like, I think Chris talks about it a lot, and I get a lot of that praise. And thankfully, you know, I really appreciate that. But like, I want to pass that down as well. Like, I wouldn't be good at my role if it wasn't for the folks that I surrounded myself with. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Hiring the right people, obviously, but having actual relationships with those people and not thinking that as a number. And I think that's what I really think is refreshing about working in nonprofits.
Actually, it's been really great to watch you because I knew you from the club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, were you a club kid too?
I was a club kid. I did sports at the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so watching you in that role in your younger years, and then I remember the Republic Service, and then and I work with you all the time at the YMCA on projects, and just listen to how you've developed into, like, you know numbers now.
Yeah.
You're concerned about numbers. We had a conversation about the other day about sustaining, and you were talking about the numbers and the membership and stuff like that, and I was just blown away that at what your position is, that you also partake in knowing what the numbers are, and that's important to you.
Yeah.
And you take that very seriously. I love that about it. Talk about the YMCA a little bit, the facility. I mean, for anybody that hasn't been to the Albany YMCA, it's like a flagship for YMCAs.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it came from, Chris basically coming in and saying, we need to do something for this community. The community doesn't have anything that's unique like this. And actually, the decision was made right when Chris took over.
Mm-hmm.
So the land in the front, like where the south field would be, on the corner of 34 and Pacific, and then where the warehouse building, that's where the old YMCA used to be. And then that land as well in the front was actually, the decision was made to either, one, sell the property, or two, basically double down and invest into the property. Well, the Y was in about $3.6 million in debt at that time, right? So the property was about worth that amount, and actually the plan was to sell it so there would be like a Quickie Mart, a little gas station, a liquor store, so on and so forth, and then the Y would just be kind of in the background, right? But it would bring the Y out of debt, but then, and the idea was to be able to sustain on what the 2015 build was, which is the main building right now. So Chris was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to double down, and we're going to bet on ourselves, and we're going to go out and work with, various grants, working with the state lottery, so on and so forth, which was, Chris led that whole that whole ship that got the lottery money and the ARPA funds and stuff like that. And so now, obviously, we have about 18 acres with 7 acres of turf fields. And then also the old coastal farm building. A lot of people don't know that what we call our warehouse. We have basically 20,000 square feet, 10,000 on one side, 10,000 on the other. It was actually the original coastal farm building.
Yep.
So bet on ourselves, or back then bet on ourselves, and then it's actually perfect timing when I came along, and Chris was like, "This is perfect timing because we got a lottery money, we have all this, but we need somebody to come in and blow all these programs up, and someone to get our marketing dialed in, and then also listen to the community and provide as many programs as we can for all ages and any ability as well." I was excited because the history at the Boys and Girls Club, and then obviously the experience at the corporate side of things as well, to understand how to build it sustainably. I think I wouldn't have been able to do it without both those experiences. But what we're working on right now is looking into the future. We actually just hired a consulting firm that has worked for the National YMCA, and we're looking at what the next steps are. So right now we're at 8,300 members, and we know that when you build, you see growth, right? And we built in 2015, we saw a huge growth, and then we saw kind of a plateau, and we started to see that trending down, right? Then COVID happened, yada yada. Okay, cool. Then now the next thing happened, which was the big build, the expansion that we had with the fields and warehouse. Well, we saw this, right? We were at about 6,000 members, 5,500 members in 2022, 2023, and now we're at 8,300, right? So we're getting ahead of the game a little bit, and we're understanding where to invest next. And we're hoping. We'll see where the numbers go, because that's what we're going to go based off of.
Yeah.
We're going to go based off of what makes the most sense, how much to invest, and what that ROI is going to be. So we don't say, let's say we build a $5 million building, and it's the same ROI as a $2 million building.
Yeah.
That's the kind of analysis that's going to be made. So then when we go to foundations and donors and community members and our member base and say, hey, these are some of the options here, what do we want to do? And so listening, and that's also something that the consultants are doing right now. Actually, yesterday, Ethan and I were working on the survey. There's going to be a community-wide survey that's going to go out that will kind of say, like, hey, what does the community need? and you know, how come the YMCA be part of that? So
Yeah, what's really interesting is back years ago when Jim was the director, and I was asked to be on the board, and I went through the thing. The message that I really resonated with me for the YMCA, it's for all, where it's for everybody, every age, every boys, girls, it's for everybody. Where and that's the difference. Like at the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls Club is more for kids and youth. And so the YMCA is for all, and I really love that message for that. And the facility is absolutely beautiful there. And you've done a really good job in your role there. Chris picked it really good, so that was a good one.
I have a question for you, Tino. So,
I like this. Hey, you want to sit over here?
yeah, it's like, is this 3 on 1?
No,
What's going on here?
well, you're talking about all the logistics and stuff. What about,
Yeah.
because you guys are growing at such a substantial rate, what about getting capped out at a certain amount of members? Is that kind of what you're doing, the market research and everything?
Yeah, so that's a huge part of the analysis is, you know, in a town the size of Albany, what is the opportunity? Where is that ceiling? Because, you know, we could build a $100 million building and if there's only a certain amount of people that can come to the Y, you know, geographically or, you know, whatever it may be, maybe transportation, so on and so forth. We don't want to, you know, build something that's for 15,000 members when 10,000 is only is what's most realistic. I think it's what's really important. What a lot of people don't know is that there's actually this year is our first year that we're on track for it. That the YMCA. Actually scholarships over $1 million every year, and that's due to the raising number of members. So the more members that come and can afford the YMCA, it subsidizes those that can't afford the YMCA, and that's our goal, is to continue gaining membership so that we can provide as much as, you know, $2 million, $3 million in annual scholarships for membership, so it can truly be a place for all. We're looking at a lot of things, and we're looking at the ROI. When is that date of the ROI? Like, you know, is it 2 years? Is it 1 year? Is it 5 years? And we're also looking at how our capital stack is currently, and how so right now we have quite a few leases that are coming off the books in the next couple years, up 3 to 5 years, and we're figuring out what we need to reinvest for maintenance purposes versus reinvest for growth. So, like, if you look at those fields, right, they're beautiful. They're 2.5, 3 years old now. Well, as most people know in Albany right now, that West and South Albany are having to reinvest in both of their fields that were built around 12 to 15 years ago. I don't know the exact times, but I live across from South Albany, and they're tearing up the track and getting ready to do the turf, and then West Albany's next over this summer. And so that's something that we're looking at and saying, hey, as these leases for like the lights and some of the field and some of the equipment, we don't have to reinvest in that necessarily, but long term, we will have to reinvest in that. So when those come off the books and we say, oh, we're gonna, like, let's say we open up, hypothetically speaking, $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000 a month, monthly in liability. Well, what percent of that needs to go back into that? It needs to go back in so we can continue and be sustainable. And also, what percentage do we need to be more aggressive with and put it towards our growth? Because if we're not going to grow, we're gonna plateau, and then we're gonna start going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So that's analysis that's being made right now, but we've hired outside consultants to help us with that, because as much as, you know, I think that Chris, Ethan, and I as kind of the like steering the boat on that, at the same time, we want people that have done it, you know, hundreds, thousands of times for YMCAs, and have the ability and have access to like true tools that can help predictive analysis.
It always seems really busy, and that's one of the things that, like, having to replace those fields, people don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just on the field a week or so ago, and it looks really great, but it does get worn out, and it does have to be replaced. So that's shit's expensive. So. So.
Oh yeah.
And in your warehouse building, you have a CrossFit gym?
Yeah, we have a CrossFit gym. We have a boxing gym. We do speed and agility out there. We do our spin classes out there. We have a really cool program called Rock Steady Boxing. It's actually a program that is it's its own program that actually a company called Synapse Fitness used to run in our facility, and it's for folks that suffer from Parkinson's. And there's 2 classes depending on where those individuals lie in their journey. And it's a really cool program because they come in. It's non-contact, but it's for coordination and for like they're shaking and it improves the longevity and also improves the quality of their life. And right now we have like 27 folks in the program. And it's something that we took on as, we saw it was going to go away, basically. There wasn't going to be a program here in Albany because it was the only program in Albany. And that nonprofit wasn't able to sustain that program. And we had the facility, and it's a really cool program. So that's on the athletic performance side, which is kind of like what we call the east side of the building. And then on the west side, it's really cool. I mean, they're both really cool. The west side is like a laser tag facility. We have like a gymnastics, like a TOTS, like gymnastics gym in there. We just built a upstairs mezzanine for a teen center for Young Life. So Young Life is also at our facility, and so they hold their like Mondays and Wednesday nights, and they have their offices there as well. Then we have conference space there. So I would say almost probably 50% of greeters now is hosted at the YMCA.
This morning I was Veterans Day parade hosted it, and it was at the YMCA in that location. So, yeah,
it's a pretty cool location. I mean, why it's so popular is because a lot of these smaller, non-brick and mortar businesses don't have the facility to have greeters and bring in folks from the community and hear about the great work that they're doing. And so we offer that up, obviously free of cost for the community, and it helps us, but it also helps their programs.
Do you still have the roller skating?
We don't have the roller skating anymore. We did roller skating for the first probably 2 years of the Family Activity Center. It was really hard on the building. So our idea is always to not kind of pigeonhole ourselves into one activity in an area. For obviously a pool, you have to do that. For a strength and cardio room, you kind of have to do that. But for that auxiliary area out there, Family Activity Center, Athletic Performance Center, I named off all those programs on both sides. And that's the beauty of the Y, is we didn't just say, hey, this side's a gymnastics gym, this side's a CrossFit gym. And then we limit ourselves to being able to serve all, like you had pointed out. And so roller skating kind of, first of all, it took a huge toll on the building, but also it was starting to turn into kind of a roller rink rather than just like a YMCA that has a roller rink. And we want to make sure that wasn't the case. And so we parted ways with that organization, and they were a great partner for a couple years, right? And I think they're still doing like some pop-ups around town. It's really cool. I kind of follow them on Facebook and stuff. They go out to the coast. They'll go out to Salem, out here in Salem, Albany. But yeah, so we don't do that anymore. But we do pickleball out there.
Which shocks me how pickleball has become huge.
Yeah. It's huge, and to me it's a little. I kind of have my antennas up a little bit because it's such a large square footage for so few people that can use at a certain time. It's very niche right now. We have invested into it in that space that is we can manipulate and have multiple things in there, so it's not just a pickleball space. I question some of the larger organizations and some YMCAs across the nation that are turning some of their basketball gyms into full pickleball courts, and that's kind of like all they're doing in that area. Because I think, number one, like I said, it's fad. It's really big, and I think it's it can work now, but I'm questioning the sustainability of the square footage of it takes with, like I said, if there's only 16 people that can play on 4 courts at a time, and that takes up a 10,000 square foot warehouse. How much money do those people have to be paying to make it sustainable? And how big is their member base? And then also, with how big that member base is, what's the access to it? Because if the member base is 1,000 people to 1,500 people, which is great, they're making a lot of money. Well, if those 1,000 people want to play and there's only 4 courts, there's only so much time and space that can happen, and that's how much revenue you can generate. So I question whether or not long-term pickleball-only facilities are sustainable. No, in no way am I saying it's a bad investment. It's just something that for us, right now, it's not like a pivot to specific pickleball, but we'll definitely always have it in our repertoire.
Put a golf simulator in there.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Golf Settler is cool. I mean, obviously we have Eagle's Nest in Albany, and so
Shout out Chris.
and then we also have the one downtown as well, or Precision, right?
Yep.
So we have two. We've got those two, and I don't know if the Y is just not the right spot for a golf simulator right now. We have talked about putting a little putting green out there.
Disc golf.
Disc golf would be cool.
Again, so much space, and so
Yeah.
Yeah, but not inside, outside.
Yeah.
You can put the
On the
put
fields.
baskets around somewhere.
Yeah.
Or put portable ones out on times that the field's not being used.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That they're not. I'm not saying the issue with that, but there is like caveat, if you will, of like when it's not being used, it's because it's during the daytime when most people are working. Anytime outside of that, I mean, I don't know if you've driven by the Y. Anytime outside of that, that's what Chris instilled into me and Ethan and I. When I first started was like, 24/7, 365. Like, why are the fields not being, like, when they're right open, like, why aren't they being used right now? Why isn't the gym being used right now? You can use it for this. We can use it for that. We can expand summer program. We can expand preschool. We have the time. We just have to be creative with it. And that's why now when you drive by, starting at like 3:30, summertime's a little different, but 3:30 after school until about 9:30, pretty much all year round, both those fields are packed. And we're continuing to look at figuring out how we can serve more people and different populations of folks, because like sports is just one. Sports are just one thing, and so some we're cracking into more and more are kind of like some I don't know if you just like not sport programs, but like we have an art program, we have a chess program, we have a women's self-defense program, we have trying to think. Oh yeah, we have a drumming class program for adults and kids.
Hey, I think
cool.
Silver Striders meets there, Mike.
wow.
Just kidding.
What's Silver Striders?
Something he's involved with that he wants
No,
to get
whatever.
Wait, is that a silver hair thing?
Yeah.
As he's saying that.
Yeah.
I dye my hair this
old
color.
people.
What are you talking
They
about?
used to have, I thought it was Silver Striders is what it was called at the YMCA.
You're talking silver sneakers?
Oh, Silver Sneakers maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Well,
called maybe.
Silver Sneakers is the Medicare program.
Oh,
So
There you go.
So it's the Medicare program.
You walked right into it.
I did. I set myself up for it.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
multiple Medicare
It's okay.
programs.
AARP.
No, it wasn't. AARP, yep. When
Yeah.
you, just be prepared, guys. When you turn 50, you start getting letters from AARP. Just
No,
so
I'm
you know.
so far away from that.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway between you and
close.
that.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. That's true. Now that you brought that up.
I've got a question for Tim. It's kind of along the lines of the why, and then I want to get it kind of together and talk about a little bit like how we met and like
Yeah, I want to. That's
and all that
on
kind
our
of stuff.
list, yeah.
But this is like what I want to hear is like, so Tim's obviously like one of my best friends, and he would like if I had a wedding tomorrow, like just depends on how many like bridesmaids she has, like he might make the cut, like, if he has like if she has
might
like
make the cut, I love
if
that,
if she has like 9 or 10, like he's probably squeaking in, or
Thank you, bro.
maybe
I
doing like
appreciate
maybe
that.
doing the ring bearer thing or whatever.
Oh, right.
No, but for real, he's 100% at my wedding. And I will find some bridesmaids if she doesn't have enough. He'll be up there with me if and when I get married.
He'd
So
be the maid of honor and the best man.
yeah,
There you go.
he can just go on
Oh,
both sides.
Yeah.
Two
I'll have the
jobs.
best speech ever.
But so Tim, like you obviously have had like enormous success, and I'm sure you talked about it in the last time you were on the podcast of like taking over the business not for lack of better words, I wasn't necessarily growing at that time, right? And I've seen in the last couple of years the time and dedication and that mind that never stops of yours build the business. And then what comes with that is folks needing support in the community and identifying you as someone that has the means to do that. And you choose to give to the YMCA, you choose to support and sponsor YMCA programs, facilities, events, so on and so forth. So like, talk to me a little about what goes into that, and why you choose the Y, and and also other organizations in the community. What do you value?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been around since 1961, and my grandfather and my dad, they kind of built the company just off community, word of mouth. There was no marketing. So when I took over, I did all that marketing and things like that, but the nonprofits and the community in general have always supported us. People like you. Actually, something really cool we just did. We just repainted the entire Habitat for Humanity, their entire exterior, free of charge. And shout out Rod and Miller, they donated all the paint, but that was a cool thing we did. So honestly, the community has always gotten our back. So just really support the nonprofits that that are in our community, because I think the Y is really cool because it supports all ages, seniors, kids, any age. So I think it's cool.
Well, that's a great message to tell other business owners, is to giving back and being visible in the community like that. And it doesn't always have to be money. It could be volunteering and giving back of your time and stuff like that. So that's very important.
Yeah, and the only other job I actually had was, besides Stom Painters, was Boys and Girls Club. And coincidentally, Tino was supposed to interview me on his last day.
Last day, yeah.
And then, tell your story where you were like, oh, I'm not going to interview that kid.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that kid, I don't think.
Well, I was like 19.
Yeah, so I was moving on, right? And it was my last day. And I was sitting in the back office hanging out with like Matt Harris, I think. And Matt Harris is awesome dude. He does all their graphic design and all their marketing stuff. Great dude. And everyone comes up, because I usually ran the interviews for the after-school program. And like, hey, the interview's here. And I was like, I'm not going. And they're like, well, these here, I kind of saw him there. He had big shaggy hair.
Yeah,
it was before he got his perm.
I did not. All natural, baby.
I saw his hair when he was 19, and it was long, and there was no curls, and all of a sudden, all these guys get this fade thing. All the kids do their thing with the little foof, and then all of a sudden, he's got a curl going. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there in the world. He's got a perm.
Nope, all natural.
No, probably not.
But
he does use coconut oil, though.
Yeah, I use some coconut cream, man.
Yeah.
You got to style it
But
a little bit.
basically, I was like, nah, I'm not going to interview, because why would I interview? This is my last day. Why would I have any say on who's going to get a job here? And then he rolled on, and you can tell the rest of your story at the club.
Yeah, so, I just kind of wanted the opportunity to work away from, my family company, just try something new. And then, had the opportunity to work at the Y, and then... at the club. And then met a friend, one of my coworkers became good friends with him, and he actually lived with Tino at the time. And then I hung out with that friend, Johan, and then ended up meeting Tino. And then, long story short, he moved over to North Albany, and then he was like, hey, do you want to move in? Had an opportunity. It was the first time I moved out, and then I moved in with Tino. That's how we became good friends. But working at the Boys and Girls Club, that was a good opportunity because it made me see just a side of just life and business in general. And, the Boys and Girls Club is really cool because it supports a lot of the kiddos out there and gave me an opportunity to see what they're all about. And then that's why I like supporting the Y too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's something very common denominator with both of our stories there was and I always have to. And I is give credit and recognize that the Boys and Girls Club's role in the community and in my life and obviously in Tim's as well, because I think it sets that foundation of really understanding what childhood, basically, how important that is, and that we need to have a focus on that. And I think that when I was at the club, and someone that I look up to a lot is John Anderson. Obviously, he's the CEO there. I worked under John for a couple years, like a year and a half or two, probably 2.5 years or so, before I moved to Republic Services. And it got me through a really hard time in my life. I mean, to be completely honest, it was people didn't really know. When I started working at the club, was I was 18 years old. I just got out of high school, and I was in college, and I was just reffing and supervising the courts while games were going on. I was a basketball player, like I said before, I think the interview, the podcast, sorry, that I should have been a wrestler, but I was basketball, so it was still basketball. Anyways, I was like, I want to move out, I want to get my own spot. So I was like, how can I do that? Get more hours. How can you do that? At the club, work in the after-school program. I could add that to my hours reffing. I could probably get a $500 apartment, which is insane to think about at this point. But so anyways, I did that. But like, so it was kind of funny. So Carson O'Brien, who now is the CEO, executive director of the ABC House, interviewed me, and it's kind of funny. After the interview, and I got hired. Long story short, I had. She kind of told me, it's like, Tino, she said, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Thanks for telling your story and blah blah blah. And she's like, we didn't really, just kind of gave you an interview because we wanted to see like what you're about. We didn't really think it was going to be that serious. And I was like, oh, why? And it's like, well, because the way I was at that time in my life, I had 3 ear piercings. It was like I had like diamonds, and then smaller diamonds, and then yellow diamonds. And then I would wear like 3 pairs of long socks and a backwards hat and big baggy clothes, because that's just who I was at that time. And honestly, the reason why I was
And you're giving him a bad time.
Yeah, my
About
shaggy hair.
coconut oil.
no. The shaggy hair part isn't the hard. It wasn't given the.
It was the style.
No,
It was the
it's
style.
the perm.
This is not a perm.
It's
the
This
perm.
is shout out
Just
my
to
mom
make
and
you
the
feel better,
Indonesians. This
I
is-
had a perm mullet when I was like really young.
okay.
So,
Hey, that's
but
the new
it
style.
worked. It worked. That's the big thing, right? Back in the days, So this, I don't know. I don't know if I could have pulled that off.
The earrings thing, yeah, I don't know, man.
Triple
Honestly,
earrings.
I had a hard time
And
because
3 socks.
3 socks.
Trend. It was a trend.
Honestly, I don't know if it was a trend, but what really was like, and this is kind of a little bit like deeper. It was like my dad was dying of terminal illness at the time, and so I was going to go to college down in Southern California and play basketball at a small school down there, and I decided not to because I wanted to stay close. My mom didn't know how long he had. My mom had a great job, and then she had to stay home with him and stuff like that, and so I was helping with that. But like, yeah, I told my story, but they didn't know. They just thought I was this like kind of punk kid that was just going around doing X, Y, and Z, and would show up late to work sometimes and all this and that. Like when I was working for that athletic department, but they didn't know what I was going through, and they didn't know that how much I cared about kids. And the reason why I wanted to work there was obviously to move out because I wanted to get some space from the situation that was going on at home. But I wanted to be a normal college kid, right? But I was just kind of, I was expressing myself in a way to kind of escape what was going on, right? And I didn't realize it at the time, but in retrospect, that's what I was doing. And so that's what I think a lot's happening with the kids at the club. And that when I learned, as I started working there, I started realizing that a lot of those kids are going through some of the same things that I was going through. Sometimes worse, sometimes it's all perspective, but they're going through stuff. Poverty or just issues with their parents in the house, domestic situations, and they didn't have a lot of support. I had support. I had my mom. I had my sister. I had good coping skills, and so I wanted to be and help the kids cope for what they're going through because they're going through it when they're 8, 9, 10 years old, and a lot of times they're just out there doing it by themselves.
Yes.
And so I worked at the club, and that's the reason. Why I fell in love with nonprofit work is because like I think that just as much the kids or adults or seniors or whoever is benefiting from the nonprofit, there's also a lot of young professionals that need guidance at either nonprofits and for-profits. And so I feel like that's kind of my role now is to identify and help those people to help just to kind of pass the torch a little bit. And that's why I think the club was important to my development, and I'll be forever grateful for the experience and also the mentorship that John provided me.
I think both organizations are amazing. I've been involved with both of them, and I think they've been spectacular. I just noticed one thing though. There's like 4 generations here between this 4 here.
Oh, we're close.
What's a generation?
Is it 10 years?
Tell me.
Wait, 4? Wait, 4?
That's a stab at
You guys were
That's
close.
a stab at me. So
What's the generation? Because I thought
that's a stab at me. So I got it.
Just pick it up on the vibe,
Okay.
But yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, just saying. But no, I don't mean to just derail that. But I will tell you that the Boys and Girls Club, I used to do a lot of coaching and things like that. And the Y, you guys cover so many
did you
different
coach?
bases. Well, I coach soccer because that's what I really know a lot about. I would coach basketball and I coach football. Now, basketball was my passion.
You're a
back
basketball
then.
player?
Wow.
I'm just looking at Arthur's
Hey,
face.
we got to stay together.
I will tell you
We need to
We're
stay
all
together
short
over here.
kings.
I will say this about the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA. A lot of my core memories are from those two places. And the individuals who take the time and enjoy being around kids, because kids can be a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it takes a lot to have the personality to be a mentor and a friend. But just the core memories that those kids will have forever because you're the perfect person for the position. It takes a lot of patience.
Honestly, I have to take my hat off and kind of pass it to the employees that, like the department directors, because they're the ones that are really in charge of the day to day, and really, you know, they're the ones putting the elbow grease into making sure that the experiences happen. So, for instance, we have over the last 3 or 4, probably 4 or 5 years actually now that Tiffany's been with the Y. She's worked really closely with the high schools in our area, and now like 7 different high schools have their senior overnighters at the Y. They used to go out of the city. They used to either go to Corvallis or Salem, Bullwinkle, somewhere like that. We're able to host that, and so those memories, like you said, are being made here in the community, which keeps the kids in our community, which allows us to grow and obviously flourish more and more. So I think that's just a really cool example, I think, of someone at the Y that kind of, and we have multiple of them. I mean, I can name off 10 off my head of those department directors that are doing those kind of programs and making those community connections to provide the experiences like you talked about. Really
So
cool.
I had 2 questions for you on that,
Yeah.
on the why. Because I think one of the things that you hear so many people say, oh, there's just nothing to do, there's nothing to do. And I think that it's not getting the message out there. You know, I think if a lot of these programs that are out there, it's getting the message out there and doing that, you know, and you don't see anybody that really drives that bus in a lot of ways. So to see all the different advancements you guys have made, the expansion and all that, I think what's really neat about that is I think you're also growing the awareness of what you guys are able to do. And so I think that that's a huge part of that. Like you say, you're growing membership and all that. And so my question is how far out do you guys expand that? Because I know you guys have Albany, but I don't know how many smaller communities around you, like, you know, you think, I mean, there's so many different communities that are around Albany that do you guys pull from? Or do you guys, you know, how do you pull from them if you do?
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a little difficult. I mean, the Y obviously is very unique, and we're more than just a gym. And so, and having a pool, to be completely transparent, is a money pit, 100%. And the rest of the programs basically have to support the pool. And so, but there are thoughts of Millersburg eventually, maybe, possibly. I mean, there's no plans in place right now. Lebanon is a attractive, growing community that doesn't have anything close to like what a YMCA is. But to answer your question, we right now it's predominantly the Albany area. But we have various groups that come from like Corvallis, Lebanon. But usually those are like either like nonprofits or like civic groups or something like that are either being involved with the Y or doing a certain program or have like a certain membership type. But yeah, so but branching out would be the next step. But we need to make sure that home base is taken care of first.
Yeah,
And,
well, I just didn't know, like, if you have bus services or things like that would go to these other communities to allow them to be a part of it. Because I have to say that, it's inexpensive for all that you give.
Yeah.
And I have offered and stuff like that. I'm always shocked at the full family plan
Yeah.
of what it costs for a family to have all the different things that you guys offer and stuff. And so
yeah, it's like less than $1 a day for like right at $1 basically for a family of 4 to be part of the Y.
And you have the scholarship programs, right?
And we do have a scholarship program. We call it Membership for All. And go on our website and apply for that. And and it's because of generous folks like Arthur at Extreme Graphics and Tim with Stom Painting that we're able to have a scholarship program. Like we talked about that $1 million I talked about that $1 million that we scholarship on a annual basis now because it keeps growing year by year.
Yeah.
Those things don't happen with individuals and businesses like yours. They just really don't.
Well, I also think that the sports programs that you put together, and you have now, because I've been part of the YMCA for a long time, probably 25, 30 years now, and the sports program has really developed. You guys really have it dialed in really well, and that's huge because that's giving those kids an outlet of something to do besides running the streets and getting in trouble and stuff like that. So the sports program is really good. And you guys do flag football, soccer,
Yeah, we do.
baseball.
We do flag football, soccer, and we do volleyball, basketball. Yeah. So we basically do 4 sports, like, and I guess boxing is no. We basically do 4 sports, and we do lots of taught sports. That was a big deal. Probably about 2 years ago, we were looking at and going out in the community asking what was needed, and it was basically sports and activities for like 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. And so now we've got all those sports I just named, but we also have dancing and we have gymnastics, and we do a tots together program with a parent and a tot. It's pretty cool. But really, so something that Ethan Hubler brought to the table and taught me and mentored me, and I give a lot of my success to him and Chris, obviously, was having a unique look at how we do our programs. And it's something that's very successful and not super common. Rather than us run all the, like I said, we have 4 programs basically that we run. We lease out the space for programs tenfold more than that we run them ourselves. And the reason is folks get a better experience, number one. Okay, the coaches a lot of times are folks that are either volunteers, but that's like their gig. Like we have elite boxing. Rolo is the head coach, and that's his business. Okay, so he leases out space and he runs the program. Okay, he runs it out the Y. Well, Rolo's an actual boxer, right? And he has like 60 or 70 kids and adults in the program. What if the Y said, we're going to hire a boxing coach? And the going rate is this much an hour. What kind of instructor do you think we're going to have? And as soon as that instructor leaves, what do you think we're going to have to replace that with? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with OVF Soccer, right? OVF Soccer is a huge organization, right? They do great work. They lease the facility for us. We have a soccer program. It's a rec soccer program, and it's a lot of fun. And it's for kids that want to go out and kick the ball and get a little better, right? But that's the higher level stuff. Level 1 volleyball. Huge. I mean, I think they have like 200 girls in the program. We have a volleyball program as well, but it's more of recreational and skill building volleyball, right? This is like level 1 is going out and doing club volleyball. So it's like we do our programs, and we do a great job. Jalen, our athletic director, he does a great job. He was in quality control with the Tech New place. What's that called?
Yeah.
Out there?
Tech New, uh-huh.
Yeah, the Tech New place. Anyways. And so when he came over, he kind of like streamlined a lot of stuff that we were doing and kind of found some holes in some of the efficiencies how we weren't performing. But ultimately, the best model is to find organizations that specialize in these youth programs, and then we're the hub and we provide the facility and the marketing. And I think that's also something that sets us apart is our marketing. So like, and that when I first took over, that was basically one of my big tasks was like, hey, we need a new website. We need an SEO presence. We need to figure out how to get in front of people better. We weren't utilizing social media very much. So like our print material wasn't where it is now. So on and so forth. And really, that was because we decided a couple years ago. I kind of put some of that. I was figuring it out, right? And then we hired Jada Krenning out of Oregon State, and she's taken to the next level. I mean, everything. So if I introduce her, we go through the campus tour. I kind of always joke, but I always say, and this is our marketing department. And there's Jada, because she does everything. So anything that you see that is pumped out from the YMCA, it goes through her, and she's the one that creates it too. She doesn't have anybody that is just designing stuff or just a social media person. She does all of it, and that's kind of what happens at nonprofits. Is you'll wear all these different hats because of the limit. Sometimes the limited resources. And to be honest, I mean, I don't know any nonprofit, at least in Albany, that has the resources to hire people that they don't need. And we're in that. We're us as well. Some people kind of, I think, sometimes because of the facility that we've been able to build with all the help from the state and the ARPA funds and so on and so forth, see is like, oh, that we have a lot of cash on hand or something like that. That's not like that. The end of the year, I think 2024, maybe 2025 is the last one you can see. It's all public information. The Y is not buku bucks, man. We're trying to figure this out. We built something huge with a lot of operating costs, and it's our job to figure out how to make sure it's sustain it.
Yeah.
And we're getting there.
It's just like a business. It's
Yeah.
like anything else.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't matter how what the status of the company is. It's still a business. It still has to run like a business. You have to make money to sustain your business.
Yeah.
And pay your people so they stay and pay them well. what do you do for fun out if you're doing the YMCA? I kind of know a little bit of this, but
Yeah. So I'm a pretty avid golfer. I started like 5 years ago ish, but I never really got serious into it. And I'm not really serious now. I play quite a bit, but I'm trying to get better. It keeps me trying to get my 10,000 steps a day when I go with my friends and they want to take carts.
Wait, you said you're not that serious? You get pretty serious.
I get serious. in
I
everything.
don't know any golfer that's not serious when they're playing golf.
I think you're serious
I am
enough
a
to
Rodney
post it on your
Dangerfield of
Facebook
golfers,
though,
I'm
because
telling
I
you
checked
right
your
now.
Facebook out.
Yeah. Well, if you checked out my 18 birdies, you'd be like, well, you've golfed 18 times. You golfed 18 times in June. So, anyways, that's where a lot of my money goes in the summer times, obviously, because I don't.
Tattoos.
Yeah. And tattoos there. I've actually haven't got one in about almost a year now, but because
addictive.
all this down here and here is too painful for me. My tattoo artist Omar Ochoa over at Limitless Tattoo, him and Brandon are phenomenal, and Christy phenomenal. They're all great. I love those folks, but they'll attest. Like they know when I'm coming in. They know it's gonna get whatever the spray is when they put the white on. They won't do it without, because I don't think you can anymore. I think it's a rule or something that they can't use it anymore. I don't know if that's true. But like a year ago or so, like I wanted the white spray or the spray right away. And they're like, no, I'm not doing that. Like when we go over to do the white passes at the end, then we'll do some of that back teen. That's what it's called. Yeah, but yeah, I just golf. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a big Duck fan. I've had Duck season tickets for the last
I know, we talk about that
Yeah,
when I go into your office.
Oh yeah, my office is a little shrine.
Yeah.
Duck shrine.
Little Duck shrine. I'm a huge Duck fan. I'm a moderate Blazers fan. I love Steph Curry. Steph Curry is my favorite basketball player of all time. And other than
So we're going to get you on the record here. John Morant. Good trade or no?
okay, so
Because
Tino and I have a lot of
this isn't
discussions
go on
about
for like
this.
about 3-4 weeks before this will air, right? So we'll have a little bit more information by that time. So let me give you your prediction. Let's see what
Tim,
you
you
gotta
go
say.
first.
Okay, my prediction is we have way too many guards right now. We have Scoot, we have Drew,
12.
we have so many. Shaden, Caleb Love. So I think we got to move a couple of the guards because we need a wing. I think we have 4 centers now. We have Jan Hansen, Klingen, that new one. I forgot
Thunder.
his name. Yeah, the Thunder guy.
Chandler or something, last name Carlson. Or, I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't
And
know
then
his
we have
name.
Rob Williams, but now we have like no wings because Jeremy Grant was like our one wing, and then we had Denny. So I think we're probably going to ship off Shaden Sharp and Scoot maybe for like a wing. Trey Murphy. That's my prediction. Trey Murphy. That'd be huge.
We need a win.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Blazer fan. That I always say the day the Blazers win the finals, I'm probably gonna cry.
Yeah. He is like the biggest. So Tim, living with Tim, man. I'll say my prediction is similar. That I think they will move 2 of them, probably Scoot and Shaden. I like Shaden, but he had a down year last year. They have to keep Holiday if they're going to have those 2 defensive liabilities in Jaw and Dame. Yeah. And I think really those 3, Holiday, Dame, and Jaw, should all probably average about 30 minutes a game apiece. And so really, even though you'll probably have Holiday coming off the bench, he's just a pseudo starter because he is the best defender on that team, other than probably Tamani maybe. But as far as like a perimeter defender. So I think those 3 are locked in right there, and I think that the odd men out are Scoot and Shaden, which kind of sucks because those are 2 decently high draft picks. So it basically means they didn't really pan out, at least in Portland. But yeah, I agree. We need some size on the wing and a defensive and a 3-and-D guy. Obviously, that's like what everybody wants. But I don't know who. Cam Johnson, I think, comes to mind a little bit, but I don't know. I'd rather have Trey Murphy, but I just don't know if they're going to give up Trey Murphy like for that. But anyways, living with Tim though. First of all, so everyone's like, what was like living with Tim? Because people ask me that.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
People like that. They're like, is he like that? Because like, there's a lot of people that you meet that have a good facade, right? That they're like, oh, they're the nicest person ever. Or, like they're really nice and blah blah blah. And they're not. No one is. No one's always the nicest person necessarily. Or you meet some people, maybe they truly are. And I've told them, I was like, what Tim is, what you see is what you get. Like the dude's just nonstop. He's just happy, dude. He's loving life. I'm just like talking weird now. Anyways, like every dinner that he's ever made, he just says, "It's good to me." I will literally ask him every time, like, I'll make something, or I would make something, bring something home. He's like, you know me, it's good to me. Everything's good to me. Everything's good to me. But
A lot of people say I'm overly positive and I'm annoyingly positive, and everyone's like, people sometimes think I'm fake because I'm always
That's what
so
I'm-
positive and thankful about everything. That's just the way I am, the way I
That's
grew
what my
up.
kids
So
say about me too, because I wake them up instantly and I just annoy them, and I'm like, "Wake up, guys!"
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I had an opportunity at a young age to go to Indonesia, where my mom's side of the family is from, and just the way they grew up and the way I've seen them grow up, it put a perspective into my mind how blessed we are, especially living in this great country, and just it's just always made me thankful. And bubbly guy, always super positive. And then watching the Blazer, he's probably so annoyed at me because watching the Blazer games when they were like down 20, I'm like, Tino, we still have a chance. A couple fast breaks, a couple
three-pointers.
threes. And then, and now the gambling stuff is all out there, but I would always do live bets. Down
Live
15,
bets.
down 20. Tino, we still have a chance, bro. You got to do a live bet with me. You got to do a live bet with me.
dude.
Hey, he's like, shut up.
dude, and sometimes like so I would come home, especially from when I worked at Republic, because I'd be waking up.
Long shifts.
I was waking up at like, so I was a supervisor in Salem, right? And so I would have to drive from North Albany to Salem like almost 40 minutes in the morning, 50 minutes in the afternoon, right, when I got off. But I had to be there by like 4 o'clock, 3:45. So I'd wake up at 2:30, and then I would get there like 3:45, 4 o'clock, and I wouldn't get off until a lot of times like around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, especially if there was like an accident or if there was something that happened later on in the day. And then I would come home, and I'm just like, shut up, dude.
Because I'd be bombarding him with all these things. Hey, Tino, what do you think about this? Oh, did you see the Blazer thing? Boom, boom, boom. 'Cause that's how my brain always works. And then he would be silent. I'm like, he doesn't really want to talk, but I'm just going to keep on talking.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to talk today. And then he finally realized, he's like, you're just a zombie, bro. You're just a zombie. I was like, yeah, dude, I need my sleep. And then when he's out there yapping, when I'm just trying to chill and get my 2 or 3 hours to myself that I have every day, and like at the end of the night, which I'm sure a lot of parents probably like, wow, that dude doesn't have it bad. He gets 2 or 3 hours a day to himself. I haven't had that in years. but in my mind, like as a bachelor, I was like, I only get this like 6 to 8 p.m. and I got to go to bed. This is the time where I need to like mentally recharge myself and not have to think about what the Blazers are doing or what are we doing this weekend or whatever Tim is spouting out at that time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
See, that's how I wake up in the morning. I'm like that
Yeah.
in the morning. 5 o'clock every morning I am. And I can't talk to Crystal. Like she's not a morning person. So when she gets up, I just can't say anything. And I'm like, I'm just chomping at the bit. Like, let's go. What are we going to do? What are we going to do today? And she's like, leave me alone. I have to have my coffee. She's a zombie. I get it. That's full energy. I want you to know about your hair. You're way in style, buddy.
It's not a perm, but I've had this for like 4 or 5 years.
14-year-old goes and gets a perm.
It's a lot of
and
money.
gets his hair cut. I mean,
This is
he's
all
a lot
natural.
of
It's
money for that.
Indonesian curls, okay?
Yeah, that's really cool. We'll find pictures. I saw pictures of Tim with long curly hair.
I have some pictures of it.
Yeah, we're gonna find pictures of him back in the day too.
Oh.
She's
She's probably looked on social or on Instagram's the one you can find the
I haven't gone there yet.
gems.
I just glanced because it's good to know like who's coming on, and then I gotta like sneak stuff in that they're like they didn't bring up,
Yeah.
So, I know you have a girlfriend. Do you got a girlfriend? Are
No.
you dating anybody right now?
No, I'm a bachelor.
Bachelor. You guys hear that? He's a bachelor.
I'm a bachelor.
Has
yeah.
a good job.
High
And has a
value.
house.
apparently he's got a high tolerance level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Train
most
them.
of us single ones do.
Yeah.
I used to be that chihuahua on the bulldog too.
Yeah.
My best friend was like this massive offensive lineman guy, 6'3", 400 bills. It's like big guy, and I was always like, hey Skip, what do you want to do? Hey, what are we doing? How are we doing this? How are we doing that? And he'd just walk like, good Lord.
Just keep bugging him.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I kind of march to the beat of my own drum a little bit, and I have my very specific routine that I go through every day. And so I got to find somebody that can like maybe go on that routine with me. And it's probably personal growth that I might need to go through to kind of like maybe like the routine kind of goes like this, and we kind of go on both of our routines. But like I just haven't necessarily found that person that not necessarily I'm willing to change the routine for, but like is willing to maybe like change their routine for me.
Yeah.
A little bit too.
I like that.
And so I'm a super family man. I'm an uncle to 2 nephews, One's 8, one's 10, and then my mom is my rock, my literal best friend.
Shout out, Debbie.
I think a lot of people say that about their mom being their best friend, and but I go to lunch with her every Friday, and we spend time together, and we're two peas in a pod.
That's cool.
And so that's that's the one thing that that I would die for. So it's the one thing that's most passionate about in my life is my mom and my family, and my sister and her family as well. So
That's really
You're a
cool.
good guy, bro. Yeah, I want to shout out these two gentlemen, Arthur and Tino, because I took over obviously at a super young age, like 21, 20-ish. And I knew nothing about business. I just knew how to paint because I started painting when I was like 14 years old. But literally, they'd be, you guys, especially Tino, because I lived with them all the porch nights.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be asking them all sorts of questions about marketing, how to manage individuals, how to scale, things like that. And you too, Arthur, you guys really helped me with the growth of Stom Painters. And we've, really grown substantially. But just all those little talks and little, pieces of advice have really helped me over the years. So really appreciate you guys. And that's what it's about. It's all about relationships and getting involved with the community. Like NBG, we're part of New Business Generation. I'm the current president. You're the previous.
Past president.
Past president. I always say that was one of the
Not a
biggest
word.
game changers was going into that group. And it's really helped.
We're going with the age thing. Is that where that was going right
Yeah, he was gonna
I
say a
saw that.
comment.
I remember.
So
Wait, so who's older, real quick? Because he's saying you're in ancient times, but
he's catching up really fast.
You guys have to say now.
I don't think I'm about the same age, aren't we?
No, I just turned 60 in May.
oh, you guys are still young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how old are you?
Not that. No, I'm going to be 59 in October, so I'm
Yeah,
not
okay.
Oh, okay.
See, there we go.
But I'm
There
still
we
in
go,
generations.
guys.
That's
I know. I just
stated
was giving
earlier.
him crap. I just 60.
Yeah.
That's
You
hilarious.
cut all that shit out and just
No,
put
keep it.
Arthur at 39. Okay.
Well, I think what's crazy is like because we're different ages and stuff, but when you're this old, you still think like that young, full of enthusiasm and passion and all that kind of stuff. It's just your body and everything else doesn't respond like it used to. But still, I mean, you get me in the pizza place, and I'm just still that kid. It's like I'm spinning pizzas, I'm throwing them behind my back, like, oh my gosh, and they're like, are you okay? Should you just sit down and need some water? I'm like, what?
You're like, turn the music up.
go. We
yeah.
just
Oh, I
started.
get in trouble for that. And the thing is, it's funny that when you have that youthful enthusiasm, a lot of people lose it because, like in the Republics, you were talking about that. It's a great company, does really good stuff, but it takes it out of you, And so whenever you get into something like the Y, and in your painting, it's just like you're passionate about that. It's so nice to be in a situation where you can actually have that passion and be able to, ignite it on a regular basis. That's cool.
It really makes it easy, like for me, and I'm sure it isn't with everybody else, and like Chris, and like everybody that's around you guys, because you guys are such inspirations, because you have the drive, you're smart, you guys really think about things, and you're not just there
I don't
for
think.
your own, I don't think so.
He's smarter. I'm not that
just-
smart. I'm a painter. They call me a lacquer baby.
A lacquer baby?
Yeah.
I like it.
Forget everything.
I-
Tino, what's going on today?
No, yeah.
You guys are go-getters, though. That's what that
You'll
thing
find that
is.
when you guys get older, that when you have somebody coming up that has that youthful enthusiasm, it just makes you feel amazing again because you kind of live vicariously in a way through them. But it's nice to see that evolution. Because when we were your guys' ages, there was people above us that would just be like, oh man, that you ignite them, and you don't understand it until you get to be old like Arthur.
You're just getting.
Whoa.
So tell us now, what's your guys' outlook for the show, the podcast here? Like, how did it start, and where's it going? And what?
Well, it's really easy when it started. He started the podcast probably a year before I was on and doing sports. He would do a sports talk.
Cool.
And because Oddmost Pizza is based around sports
Oh yeah.
and baseball in particular, right?
Well, it fit the logo. But I love sports.
And then
Yeah,
he did like the sports talk thing that I don't know that you had any followers or listeners, but but
Jeez.
He's just fired it back.
I just fired it back, bro.
Again, I didn't do it for the glamour of it.
I
I,
know,
did it
you
because
just did it
we
for the love
talked
of the
beer,
game.
we talked sports, we talked pizza. I'm like,
Yeah.
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so it was doing really good, and he was telling me about it. and we've been friends for a while. And he asked if I wanted to be on it one day, and I was like, sure. And I was really nervous. I'm pretty good about public speaking now and stuff like that. I was a little bit nervous coming in front of that. I think I was only on one podcast before that, and he had me come in, and it was funny because he couldn't get past the intro. It was just really funny. It was. We were both laughing. Ashley's over there in the background laughing, and come on, you guys, come on, Mike, let's go. And finally, I just said, hey, I'm Arthur Meeker, and with Extreme Graphics, and this is my host, Mike, Sublet with Oddmost Pizza, and that's how it started. And they asked if I want to be on, and then I know a lot of people, and I've been bringing a lot of.
It's been kind of a neat thing because Arthur is bringing people on from places I had never met people before. He's had good relationships with them, so I get to meet people for the very first time.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just great because I get to get introduced to people, and you get to know people, and that I've never had an opportunity to get to know before. And so I've gotten to know a lot of people in the community because I'm kind of I'm a hermit in a way. I like to stay behind the scenes. I like to do a lot of grunt work. I like to be involved, but without the highlights and spotlights and things like that. I just like to be anonymous in a lot of ways. And Arthur gets to know everybody. And so it's been kind of nice for me to transition into being a bigger part of the community on the other side, and so it's been really nice.
We just decided that we wanted to bring on fun people, unique people that are like you guys, go-getters, really passionate about what you guys do and what you stand for and the things that you're involved in, and movers and shakers of the community. And you get to know a few people through your life and stuff like that. What we'd like to do with this show is really open it up to everybody, that watches the show, get to know people. We've had people have breakdowns and cry on our show because they've talked about their past. A lot of people are, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but most people are open book, and they'll talk about their lessons they learned, good, bad, and ugly. And they, but we find out new things every day. Like the gal that was on before us, Jackie. I didn't know that she was a singer and sang the national anthem at the baseball games.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's cool.
The basketball game.
The basketball game, I was blown away by that. I never knew that,
cool.
And that's really good. It's just like I haven't mentioned anything that I know you do karaoke, and you're actually a really good singer.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I remember
When was that?
What? When we had that after-hours party after the awards banquet that time.
Oh.
Man,
He's
you
like,
you had the mic in your hand the whole time. See, he's smiling.
You did?
Yeah.
What song was it?
Probably Just to Be Your Man.
I don't remember,
Josh
but
Turner.
I was like, what?
That's
Tina knows how to sing. Maybe I was drinking too much.
That's
too.
my go-to. Yeah.
But you got up there and everybody was doing karaoke.
I would say in my younger days, meaning like until I was like 28 or 29, is probably when it was. I used to get a little sauced up and do karaoke, and I got a little country twang to me, and I can do it, but only a few songs. They got to be pretty deep.
Yeah.
But if I try to sing, high, it was like, I don't know, that Step Brothers and trying to sing high, whatever.
He was really good. I was blown away, because I don't do karaoke. I don't sing. You don't ever want to hear me sing. But I was like, what the hell, man? Because I've known you for a long time, and I didn't even know that you sang.
Evidently, I mean, I don't remember that.
I am so confused because I've tried getting him to do karaoke so many times, and he always denies it.
You didn't get enough alcohol in them.
I guess
You got to lube him up.
Or enough in you to hear it. I don't know.
Oh, I always get enough alcohol for myself.
He's always doing it, and
Toby Keith.
I'm always like kind of like not too much, but maybe this will inspire me. And
last time I was asked to sing karaoke, I asked for an instrumental song.
oh, did he rap?
No, I just
freestyle.
I think the only one I could do is that one song, the whole what was that? Tequila song. You only have like 3 words
Tequila,
the entire song. That would be my jam.
Did you want to do rapid fire questions?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you said Indonesia, so my first question is durian, yes or no?
Not for me. Stinky.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
So stinky.
My business partner loves it.
My mom likes it, but it's too stinky.
What about rendang?
How do you know that? Oh yeah, rendang is good. That's a coconut infused, bay leaf infused beef, and it is so freaking good. I could eat that every day with rice though.
When's the barbecue?
I don't do the cooking.
Oh man,
I don't cook.
who does it? Your mom.
My mom. Yeah.
Well,
or my mom's Indonesian
you got to
friends. All
introduce
my
me as
aunts.
your. Well,
The guest? Of
yeah,
course.
yes, not grandpa, lost grandpa or something.
Yeah.
I almost said.
I'll invite you to the next potluck.
Yeah,
we have
that
a lot of
sounds
Indonesian
good.
potlucks. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
man.
a big Indonesian community in Salem. So
We
good.
always have food conversations like right at the end.
And they're all real
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah. I'm actually hungry.
Is there anything that you want to end with?
I mean, other than just thanks to everyone here for having me on and letting me kind of talk about Tim and I's journey, and then also just kind of recognizing some of the steps along my path, my journey, and ultimately, want to make sure that everyone knows that, at the YMCA, and that's kind of like, my deal when I'm in on something, I'm 100% in on it. And so I live, I eat, sleep, breathe. I don't know how it goes, but whatever it is, it's YMCA and my family and golf. Those are like the three things, and then my dog as
And
well.
then Tim.
And ducks.
And Tim after the dog and the ducks.
And ducks and Tim and just a lot of things. But the work that we do at the Y is near and dear to my heart, and so I just wanted to thank you guys for letting me come out and kind of explain a little bit how the Y, what's going on at the Y right now, how we've got where we're at, kind of where we're headed, and if this is probably airing sometime soon, we have the Summer Y Games coming up on August 14th. It's an opportunity for businesses and families, or have your kids make a team. We have all different age divisions, and it's really cool. It's kind of like it's almost like a golf tournament, but without golf. You go through 10 different stations, and we get sponsors for each station, right? And you do 10 different challenges, and some of the challenges are like, there's like 4 or 5 people. We always keep 4 like best times. Basically, a lot of them are time or point like challenges. So, for instance, like a 3-point contest, 5 people go. You keep your best 4 scores. You add them all up. That's your score for that. And then you're going to be faced against everybody else that's plays. So if there's 30 teams in it, whatever place you get is how many points you get. You go through 10 different challenges. You get your final score, and then that's where you rank 1 to 30 basically. But we don't just have like sports, we have, actually our favorite one is called mind games. It's where you get into a room about this size, and then you get to go in for 2 minutes, and there's just crazy different things. Sometimes we've done an office before, we've done a bedroom before, we've done a campsite before. This year we're doing like a preschool classroom, and then you go out into a room next door, and you'll have 25 questions on stuff that was in the room, but you can't go back in, and so it's a memory test of like, oh yeah, what page number was the second book on the left on the bookshelf, right? Or what time, how many clocks were in the room, and stuff like that. It's really cool, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure it's not. We do about half that are like more mind stimulating, and the other half are like more physical, and that's why we do that, is because we want to make sure that everyone understands at the Y, it's always we're always thinking holistically at the person, and not just you're gonna be into sports and we're just gonna do sports. No, half of the Y is about community, fellowship, and overall mental and physical health, and that's why I think the Y is so important. Because a lot of times people think it's helping physical health, well, what does that do? It keeps you locked in right here. Yeah. That routine that I talked about that I have keeps me semi-locked in right here. But we get to play a role in that, because we get to be a part of people's healthy habits, physically, that helps them mentally and emotionally, overall. That's why we do what we do at the Y. But yeah, Summer Y Games, Timmy will be there. Been there since year 1, August 14th at the Y. So if you're seeing this, and you're interested in doing something fun with your crew or
What day is
family,
it?
it's a Friday. So it's a Friday where you don't have to work.
Friday.
August 14th.
August 14th.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I want to end with, is thank you, and a little plug for the Y, because it's near and dear to my heart, and we're doing great things. So.
Do you have anything that you would
Yeah,
like
just
to
want
say?
to shout out the old timers in front of me. No, I'm just kidding. They were taking steps.
By the way, I didn't play basketball. You remember what I did when I grew up?
Oh, he's a wrestler.
Wrestling.
You ready to wrestle?
No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and just all the mentorship over the years. Arthur, Tino for dealing with me and teaching me all sorts of things, and
It's still
it's been good. And John Anderson over at the Boys and Girls Club. He's my Filipino brother. We're Asian brothers, so we always joke about that, and really support him. YMCA, all the nonprofits. It's really cool to see what they've been doing over the years, and that's why we support them, just because I mean, it's all about the youth. It's all about the community, you know?
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys both came. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, thank you.